Hi, it's Aero Cyclist here. Just want to do an initial impressions of the giant Propel. This is the SL model with the SRAM Red Etap. Now, I wanted to do an initial impressions on this because there's really not a lot of information or videos on YouTube or reviews on the internet about this bike, and so just to give a bit of a look and thoughts as to what I think of this guy. So overall, as we can see, the beauty first of all of the SRAM Red Etap is it's a very, very clean setup. If we come around to the cockpit, we've effectively just got two cables on the whole bike. Front brake running down here and the rear brake running through to the back. Very, very clean cockpit, very nice. Obviously with it being wireless, if we come down and have a look, we've got the front derailleur here, so wireless, and the rear derailleur here, again wireless setup. So that's all been absolutely flawless for me. So two advantages here. One is no wires, so a very, very clean setup on the bike, and that in turn means less cables, which means less weight, so it's a win-win. Now I have read that some people have had some issues with delays in shifting with the wireless setup, but for me that's not been an issue. I run Di2 Ultegra on my other training bike, and in terms of performance the two are pretty much on a par. Now the other issue with aero bikes can be comfort. This one's got the integrated seat post here, so you're going to get less flex and lateral movement compared to a separate post. Overall, I found it to be pretty good. One thing I should note is that I've swapped out the standard tyres, the stock giant Gavia tyres, and I put on my favourite Conti Grand Prix 4002S. And these are running 25s, so they're not 23s, they're 25s if we have a look for width. And that gave a definite boost to the comfort. The tyres are just sitting slightly wider of the rim than I might like. It's not quite as flush as it could be. Let's see if we get in there close, maybe you can see that. But that switch from 23 to 25s made a huge difference. Just come around and have a look at the front. You can see the same setup here. So plenty of clearance there for the 25s, no problem front or back. And again, if we just come around, you can just see the tyre bulging out slightly from the rim there. Now I run these at about 100 psi, and that's working well for me. In terms of clearance with the 25s, just coming down here, you can see how that's quite a nice tight fit to the frame. You really couldn't go any bigger than that. I think 28s, you'd struggle for clearance there. No problem with clearance at the rear here. Just have a look at that again, both for the integrated brake and for the frame itself. Other modifications I've made just to the standard fit is a couple of cages. So I've got a aero bottle there. I found that to be quite nice, stable, easy to drink from. I've got a second cage on there for when I'm carrying a spare drink down on race day, but I whip that off as need be. If I'm doing a short TT, I might whip the aero bottle off as well. For bike computer, I've added the Wahoo bolt. I might do a separate video on this guy, but that's been a really nice clean setup there on the cockpit. Again, nice and aero, and that sits very nicely. And that brings me on to one of the other changes. Now, I didn't buy this bike brand new. I bought it from someone who'd been doing crits and found the bike just not quite what he was after, and he was going to build up another bike, so he sold this on and he pinched a couple of bits off the bike, so particularly the stem and the bars. I swapped out just standard these giant contact SL stem and handlebars, and initially I was a bit disappointed by that because it's taking away one of the aero features, but one of the pluses is it means that standard computer mounts like the one for the bolt here just go straight on. There's no special aero mounts required, so that's quite nice. The only other addition is the pedals. So I've just got some Look Keo Max 2s here. I'll just spin that around. So that's quite a nice aero profile sitting on your shoe. I'm probably going to put some Vector 3s on here when they come through. I've got some Vector 2s which I've swapped on a couple of times, but they're a pain to move around, to be honest. So I've just left these looks on here for racing. Okay, I think that's the main points. Otherwise it's standard kit. I've got a standard saddle. I haven't felt the need to swap this out. Other bikes I ride a Physique, so that's something I might look at doing in time, but I'm pretty happy with that. And just to come on to initial impressions of performance. So this is my first aero bike. The bike I was racing prior to this, which I've been now using for my training bike, is a Di2 Ultegra model, carbon frame, weighs about 8 kilos, so that's pretty nice. Standard shallow wheels on that guy. And this guy, yeah, I've got to say I'm pretty impressed. I'm not noticing a massive difference for group riding. Obviously when you're drafting, the aero side of it doesn't matter quite so much. But I've been using this for I've done 3 TTs on this now with the local club, and this bike's been fantastic. Last weekend I actually just raced the club TT championships for 2017. That was on a 25 kilometre course, a hilly course, and also quite, well, very windy. It was gusting above 30 kilometres an hour. Now I put on some TT bars just on the front here. They're off now, but that just enables me to get a bit more aero, and with the Etap I can actually have some blips. So I've got some shifters that just click in and I can change on the bars. But the bottom line was I was able to do an average speed of 39.3 kilometers an hour on a hilly 25 kilometer time trial course in very windy conditions. And the bike performed beautifully. Even with the deeper section wheels, the handling was fine. Would like something a little deeper on the rear for TTs, but overall it's a pretty good compromise. And that was very much a PB for me, just to give the context, that kind of speed. Prior to that, my best speed was about 37 kilometers an hour. Again on the same bike, but with a bit of training and preparation I've managed to, and a new skin suit, managed to up that to 39.3, and was hoping to get above 40, but the windy conditions really negated that on the day. So overall pretty happy with the time. And I guess what it shows as well is the bike supports the increase in your ability. So as I've been able to up my effort, the bike isn't the thing that's holding me back. As I say, performance for group rides, I haven't noticed a huge difference over riding my standard bike. It's nice and light. This setup comes in at probably just over 7 kilos, so it climbs well. It's definitely stable for riding in the groups, there's no problem there. Comfort's reasonably good. I haven't done super long rides on it yet, so that's something I'll cover in a more in-depth review. But overall, yeah, this is a great machine. Speed really comes naturally to this bike in a TT situation, or when you're really pushing on your own off the front. You can really get up to speed and hold that speed well. So overall, yeah, really pleased with this bike. Now the 2018 models are out, and there's no Etap model in the Propel range for 2018. So if you want the SRAM red Etap, this is still the go-to bike in the giant Propel range, and I have to say that's the real standout feature for me. It's just clean aero, it's fast, shifting's beautiful, it makes for just a really lovely setup on the bike. Okay, well, this is the first video that I'm doing as aero cyclist. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at my giant Propel. I'm going to be doing some more riding on this guy, and I'll come back with a full, real in-depth review, just going over all the points, the brakes, the wheels, the shifting, the comfort. I'll do some longer rides on this guy, and some more feedback. I've got my club championship road race coming up this weekend, so this guy will get a good workout, and we'll see how it holds up for that. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.